Welcome back to another what I watched in the last month video, and this is for the month of February. It's officially March. This month flew by, honestly. I'm in the middle of a big transition in life. If you don't follow me on Instagram or you don't know what's going on, I just moved. I moved into a new house with my fiance. That's another part of this. I'm engaged. This wall is amazing, so I thought I'd film in front of it because it's my favorite wall so far, even though we have a lot of work to do. And I do plan to do a home renovation type of video, kind of update soon. If you're into that, I plan to do one of those, but we're not done yet. I've been very busy. I haven't had a lot of time to make videos or even be active on Instagram or anything, but I'm gonna get back on it soon enough. And I always make sure to have time for movies and TV shows because that is something I love. And I definitely had to make time to talk about them. I got my wine and I'm ready to talk about movies and TV series that are worth watching and that are not worth watching, but we'll get to that. So speaking of red wine, the first thing I wanted to talk about was the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window. I'm sure everybody's heard of this. It's on Netflix. It's a 2022 mystery miniseries that's also like a dark comedy, and it stars Kristen Bell. It's definitely a parody on all those shows, movies, and books where the woman is always questioning her sanity and she's dealing with some kind of trauma that she's trying to get past, and then she's trying to also solve a crime that she thinks she saw or that she did see. It's the same idea as that. If you ever saw The Woman in the Window, I think that's what they're playing off of course. The woman in the window, she's afraid to go outside. She's agoraphobic. But in this one, she is afraid to go outside because of the rain. She's scared of the rain. She drinks a ridiculous amount of wine. And let me tell you, that show made me crave red wine. Like she just drinks so much red wine in that show that I had me thinking about wine all the time. So cheers. Honestly, it was enjoyable. I kind of wish it was a movie and not a series because it didn't have to be that long, honestly, but I'll take it. What I did find weird is that it was not to be taken seriously. It was kind of a joke or a parody. And I found that to be kind of confusing because I felt like there could have been more jokes or more comedy in it. I wanted it to be a little bit more ridiculous. I still enjoyed it. I still think it was a good time and something fun to watch on Netflix. Next thing I just have to talk about is Love is Blind. If you've ever watched season 1 during the pandemic when it came out in 2020, season 2 just came out this month and it's been a ride. It's on Netflix and it's a show about singles who are trying to find a match and fall in love without seeing each other face to face. So they basically hang out in these little pods and they talk to each other through a wall, and then they end up agreeing to marry someone in 3 weeks. It's insane and I'm here for it. I love it. It is such a fun, ridiculous thing to watch. If you like watching 90 Day Fiancé and The Bachelor and stuff like that, which I personally am not even a big fan of those type of shows, I think you can enjoy this. And even if you're not a fan of those things, I still think that you can give it a shot and actually find it amusing. It's fun to watch it fail, and it's fun to also watch it succeed. And in some cases, the relationships actually work out. In season 1, there's a few success stories. And if you have been watching, comment down below and let me know who's your favorite couple, because I think Iana and Jared are my favorite. I'm excited because this week they're coming out with the reunion, so we get to find out who's actually still together. So I'm excited for that. Going on with the Netflix, we got the Tinder Swindler, which everyone has been talking about as well. And this is a documentary on Netflix about a group of women who were victims from this guy who was on Tinder, and he basically convinced them to believe that he was this like lavish millionaire who is the son of the king of diamonds, and then he basically tricks them into thinking that he's in trouble and that he needs money, and then he uses the money he gets from one woman to continue the lifestyle he has for the next woman. And it's insane. It's crazy. Like, he goes on private jets, he travels the world, he has the most expensive clothing and watches, and he lives this like crazy rich lifestyle that he's not even faking, because he does have this money, but the only reason he has money is because the woman he's dating, he convinces her that he's in danger and needs help because his enemies are after him, and then when he gets the money from that woman, then he goes to the next woman, and it's insane, and it's worth a watch, honestly, because the fact that he's still out there and he hasn't gone away with it, he's not in jail for this, is crazy. Next up we have Kimi, and this is a 2022 thriller crime that just came out on HBO Max. It stars Zoe Kravitz, and she, ironically, is an agoraphobic who is a tech worker that discovers a recorded evidence of a violent crime, and she's trying to report it and gets in trouble with the criminals, basically. Honestly, this movie was good. I enjoyed it, but I will say it starts very slow, and I think that it takes too long to get going. And then once it gets going, it ends very quickly. And I just feel like I needed more of the ending, like when it gets good. It does have a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's a little generous. I think it was good, but I don't think it was like in the 90s for me. I would probably give it like an 80 something, but I think it's worth a watch if you have HBO Max. Speaking of HBO Max, I wanted to mention my favorite movie, well, one of my favorite movies that I saw this month, and it's called The Fallout. It is a 2021 drama that stars Jenna Ortega and Maddie Ziegler. Jenna Ortega was on the show You on Netflix. She was also one of the main characters in the new Scream movie. And then Maddie Ziegler, I mean, we all know her from Dance Moms and from Sia's music videos. The premise of the movie is a little dark and heavy, and I'm gonna say that this is definitely an emotional drama. It's about the students who have to deal with the aftermath of a school shooting, the different ways that everyone handles trauma, and you know, how everyone heals differently and at different times and expresses things in different ways. I really thought they did a really good job with it. The school shooting aspect to it is it's at the beginning and it's very quick, and they don't really let it drag on too long, so it doesn't get that heavy. It is a teenage drama still, so there is like teenage romance involved, and like I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful movie. I cried, and I just think it was such an interesting take to watch students who have gone through a school shooting and what they might experience afterwards, like being scared to go back to school, feeling confused and numb, all the different ways that people kind of handle and deal with things. And I think Jenna Ortega did an amazing job being the main character. I fell in love with her by the end of the movie, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it, so let me know if you've seen it. Speaking of emotional movies, we have Coda, a 2021 drama currently on Apple TV. This one was nominated for Best Picture for the Academy Awards, and I'm gonna mention a few movies that are currently nominated for the Academy Awards because we personally like watching the Oscars, and I like seeing the movies that are nominated for those, even though sometimes those movies are kind of not my cup of tea or kind of boring at times, but I just sometimes I need to watch them just to know. This movie is more on the simple side. It's a very simple plot, not a ton happens, but the premise of it is emotional. It's about a family who is deaf. The brother, the mother, and the father are all deaf, but the daughter can hear, and she actually likes to sing, and she wants to go to school for singing, and she's trying to get into a university for music, but unfortunately her family can't appreciate her singing and her love for music, and it's sad. It is beautiful, and if you like watching like family dramas and nothing really crazy happens, it's a very simple, like I said, plot. If you want to watch something that's gonna make you cry a little, I suggest Coda. It is also a very beautiful but sad movie. It also isn't super sad either. I don't want to make it sound like it's this like devastating thing. I think both The Fallout and Coda are beautiful and emotional, but in the right way, where it ends in a light note and you feel good at the end, if that makes sense. The next thing that's nominated for an Oscar is House of Gucci, and I just had to watch it. It is a 2021 drama crime that we rented on Redbox recently that stars Jared Leto, Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Al Pacino. It's about the Gucci family. Probably the most boring movie I saw this month. It is practically unwatchable, honestly. I had no idea. The whole movie, I didn't care about any of them. I thought Lady Gaga like did a good job, I think, for what it was. I thought Adam Driver, I mean, I don't know. It was just so boring, so slow, so not interesting, and personally was not, I don't know if I'm just personally not into the Gucci family and the whole Gucci thing or what, but I just didn't care. It has a 62%, and I'd give it more like a 30. And that's me being nice. I couldn't have cared less for this movie. Next, we have another movie on the Oscars list, and it's Being the Ricardos. This is a 2021 drama that's currently on Amazon Prime, and it's based on Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz and them as a couple. And if you know who Lucille Ball is, obviously I Love Lucy. Kitty decided to come join me. I used to watch I Love Lucy on Nick at Night back in the day, and I had no idea that Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were even a couple. I didn't know anything about their story, honestly. And this is basically about the obstacles they faced during that time and the threats to their career and the relationship. And it stars Nicole Kidman. I think it was pretty okay overall. I wasn't amazed, or I wasn't like super in love with the movie, but I saw that Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 68%, and I think that's pretty accurate. It was decent. Better for sure than House of Gucci. Honestly, anything was better than House of Gucci. I just have to talk about a show that I saw this month. Actually, we watched a lot more shows this month than usual, so I'm actually gonna be mentioning more shows than movies, I think. And I think this is probably one of the best shows I saw this month, and it's called The Morning Show. It's on Apple TV, and it started in 2019. They're currently on season 2. It stars Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell. They have an amazing cast. All the characters are so interesting and so well done. Kind of has to do with the Me Too movement and cancel culture. Steve Carell's character gets canceled for inappropriate behavior in the office, and it's just a fun story. Jennifer Aniston is his co-anchor, lead anchor in the morning show. A series of events leads Reese Witherspoon to take over, and it's just a fun dynamic to watch the characters that Jennifer and Reese Witherspoon play. It's ironic because I've never been a person who cares about the Today Show or anything like that. I've never woken up early enough to ever watch a morning show, and I thought I would never be interested in the plot of this show, but as I got deeper into it, I fell more in love. It was one of those shows that I couldn't take a break off of it. Like every day I was looking forward to watching the next episode or 2 or 3, and I think it was worth a watch. And if you haven't given it a chance and you have Apple TV, I highly suggest The Morning Show, especially if you like the Today Show. Then I would imagine that you would like it even more. And I'm very much looking forward to season 3. Another show I wanted to mention is called Severance. This is also on Apple TV. It is a 2022 thriller that just came out this month. There's only currently 3 episodes that we've seen. I think the 4th episode is gonna come out this week. It stars Adam Scott, and even Christopher Walken is in this, which is pretty cool. Obviously, I'm only 3 episodes in, so we will see how it goes. But so far, so good. It definitely has like Black Mirror vibes and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, if you like that movie. It has to do with a surgery that you can do to your brain, so that it's a part of the brain that you can sever in order to split your lives, so that your work life and your home life don't correlate. When you're in your work life, you have no idea about the outside life that you have, and then when you're in the outside life, you have no idea what happens at work. The idea is so that basically you can focus 100% on work, and when you're out of work, you don't have to worry about work. It's kind of like that. The concept is kind of crazy as it is, but I think what's even more interesting is trying to find out like the company that these people work for, they don't even know what's going on in there, and like it's definitely seeming like there's some sketchy stuff going on, and I'm very intrigued. Hopefully it stays good, but so far I think it's worth checking out if you haven't, and if you have Apple TV, you might as well give it a chance. Another show we saw this month is called All of Us Are Dead, and it's on Netflix. It is a 2022 Korean drama that just came out this month, and it's all about zombies. So if you like zombies and you like Korean dramas, we just went through the whole 1st season, and it has to do with the zombie outbreak and a bunch of high school students. And yes, it is in Korean, so we did watch the English dub, which I don't always love doing. I wish I wasn't lazy about having to just read the subtitles. I think it was a fun watch. I used to like watching The Walking Dead, so I think it kind of like, you know, if you like zombies, I've always enjoyed watching zombie shows and movies, and I kind of just felt like I hadn't seen one in a while, so I appreciated seeing a zombie show. It was pretty decent. I'm not gonna say I was obsessed with it like The Morning Show, but I think it was pretty good. The next show we have is Pam and Tommy. This is on Hulu, and it is a 2022 romance that just came out as well this month. We're only about 6 episodes in, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not an amazing show. It's about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee and their relationship at the time when they were iconic. It has to do with their sex tape that got leaked. And you know, I remember being a kid during this time. I remember being aware of the relationship of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, and I think I remember something about the sex tape, but like it was like something I heard but I didn't even understand. The whole show is just basically showing from their perspective of the experience, and which I think is cool, except I don't love that Pamela Anderson did not approve of this show. She's not totally happy about this and kind of being exploited. And I do find that part weird about it, and I almost feel guilty watching it. But it is entertaining, so I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching it, and it's okay. It's not amazing, it's fine. It's entertaining enough, I think. The next thing I want to talk about is Texas Chainsaw Massacre that just came out on Netflix. 2022 horror. Obviously, we all know about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm sure you've heard about the new one. It's not great. It's not as bad as House of Gucci, but it's not. It's at least more entertaining than that, but it's just honestly meh. I don't really know I can't even think of anything else to say. It's a basic horror film that really didn't impress me at all and was very basic. Honestly, I've never really been crazy about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I guess I'm a little biased. I think the new Scream movie and the newest Halloween film is like 1,000 times better than this Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so. The next movie though is worth talking about. The movie is Titane, and it is a 2021 horror thriller that is currently on Hulu, and it is so weird and so strange, and if you're into the strange and unusual films of the world, then you probably will like this movie. It is about a woman who has a titanium plate in her head, and she also has like a fetish for cars, and then she gets pregnant by a car or from a car. In telling you, it's weird, but also there's like this emotional part to it where there's more to do with like a family aspect of like how she's lacking like a father figure in her life, and it's a lot about trust and forgiveness, and it kind of gets emotional and beautiful, but it's one of a kind. I'm not saying it was my favorite film or anything. I appreciate it still for being different, and I like films that take that risk and do something strange and try to, you know, I always will appreciate that, because every film can't be a cookie cutter experience. So I like that part about it, but I also think it was a really weird experience, and I'm not sure how I felt at the end. But I think it's worth watching if you like to watch something different. Going from a horror to comedy, we have Ali Wong's new special on Netflix called Ali Wong Don Wong. And I loved her last special on Netflix called Baby Cobra, when she was like pregnant. And I've seen Ali Wong perform live. She's great, I love her. But I'm not gonna lie, I was not obsessed with the special. I thought it was very like, her jokes were very cheap, if that makes any sense. I felt like she focused a lot on sex and talking about men during sex, and she kept talking about how she wanted to cheat on her husband, and I don't know, I think I just didn't appreciate the type of jokes that she kept using. I liked her jokes more when she was pregnant, I don't know. I just felt like it was so aggressive. She did make it better by the end, but I personally I didn't laugh very much, and I was kind of disappointed in that special. But it seems like people really liked it. I don't know if I'm alone in that. Tell me if you watched her comedy special and if you enjoyed it, because I felt like I just didn't laugh that much. Next movie is Ghostbusters Afterlife, and this is a 2021 fantasy comedy that's about the legendary Ghostbusters. It is all right. I'm not gonna lie. It was all right. I don't personally find it memorable, or I didn't feel like it blew me away. I think it's probably, it's also probably exactly what I would have expected, but I guess, I don't know what I was looking for. I can't imagine what else I would wanted from it, but I guess I wasn't super impressed or anything. I thought it was okay. Entertaining enough. If you're a huge Ghostbusters fan, then I can see you like maybe being more into it, but I personally, I wasn't like super into it. So the last 3 things I'm gonna mention are all shows. The first one is called Murderville, and this is on Netflix, and it's a comedy that has currently 1 season. It just came out this month. It stars Will Arnett, and this is a like silly comedy, like parody style show where every episode features a different celebrity or star. So like for example, the first episode I think was Conan O'Brien, and that one's hilarious. He is playing this cop or detective who he takes along the guests into this like hypothetical crime scene, and they're kind of improvising as they go from what I understand, or at least the script is improvised, and I think it's entertaining and funny if you're looking for something silly to throw on. If you're looking for something to not take seriously and you just want to put something on that's like every episode's not connected, so you could just watch one at a time, and I think it's funny, and I think Will Arnett is hilarious, so I thought it'd be worth mentioning if you have Netflix to check it out. Next we have How I Met Your Father. This is currently streaming on Hulu, and it is a brand new show that just came out this month starring Hilary Duff. So I had to watch it because I love Hilary Duff. But I also have to admit, I've never been a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother. I never cared for it that much. I think I watched maybe a few episodes, but like I just wasn't... Any show with the laugh track in the background is just something I can't take. And that's the main issue with this show. The whole laugh track just bothers me, and I've been trying to get through the show because I really want to find out who the father is, and I like Hilary Duff. But I'm just curious to know if you're watching this show and what do you think? Okay, last thing I wanted to mention, and this is probably the dumbest show of them all, so I thought I'd throw it in last. It's on Netflix. It's called The Circle. They're on season 3. I did watch season 1 when it first came out, and I totally didn't even see, I skipped over season 2, and then I decided on a whim to put on season 3, and you know, this is a silly reality show on Netflix where you have to basically vote for people based on their online persona, and it's this like game show where you kind of have to convince everybody to like you either by being you or by pretending to be someone else. It's a silly concept, yet somehow I find it entertaining. I actually really enjoyed season 1 a lot. I think it came out in 2020 during the pandemic. So that might be a part of it too. And I didn't plan to watch season 3. I had no interest, but then I clicked on it late at night to fall asleep and ended up watching like 3 episodes that night when I was supposed to be sleeping. I guess I found it entertaining enough, and I'm still watching it. I haven't finished it yet, but it's a dumb show, and I hate to admit that I enjoy it, but I do. I'm wondering if you enjoy it too, because it's one of those guilty pleasures like Love is Blind, where it's not good quality entertainment, but it's still entertaining, and that's all that matters, right? Let me know what you've been watching. I was curious to watch Inventing Anna, and I did start the first episode, and then I just haven't given it a true chance. And I'm curious to know if anybody is really into it, or how it's going for them, and if it's worth watching, or what else is worth watching for the month of March. Is there something that's coming out this month that you're excited for? Batman comes out this month. I don't know if I'm gonna go see it in theaters or not. Torn about that one. But yeah, comment down below and let me know what you saw, what you're looking forward to, and I hope to have a home renovation video soon. Toodaloo!